welcome everyone to our City of Little Rock Board of Directors board meeting. Want to welcome those that are here in attendance as well as those watching and streaming online. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Director Miller. Director Richardson. Director Webb.
Here.
Director Peck.
Here.
Director Hines.
Present.
Director Lewis.
Here.
Director Campuris. Director Phillips.
Present.
Director Adcock.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wyrick.
Present.
Mayor Scott.
Here. I will now ask City Director Antoine Phillips to please give the invocation. Briefly.
That's your favorite joke, huh? Briefly.
Now that you named it, it can't be my favorite joke.
I don't think it's a joke, though. I think it's a directive.
Let's humble ourselves. Dear Lord, we thank you for your continued protection and provisions for the citizens of the City of Little Rock. We ask you to continue to give us your wisdom and your protection for us at this board and all city employees as we do work to make Little Rock the place that it should be for everyone who visits and resides here. It is in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. May y'all please stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Members of the City Board, we have 5 modifications for today's agenda. Do we have a motion?
Move to move resolutions M1 through M5 to the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the consent agenda along with the additions of M1 through M5.
A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a memorandum agreement with Pulaski County, Arkansas regarding phases 8 and 9 of the Southwest Trail and for other purposes. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Ed Supply Company Incorporated in amount not to exceed $139,991.33 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of an HVAC equipment for the Jim Daly Fitness and Aquatic Center and for the Dunbar Recreational Center and for other purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution Number 16,793, September 2nd, 2025, to authorize the city manager to enter into a 1-year contract extension with Hope Lawn Care in an amount not to exceed $138,772.20 for a right-of-way mowing and trimming within the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with MCLRF LLC doing business as Mark McClarty Ford, an amount not to exceed $150,655 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 5 2026 Ford Maverick all-wheel drive Super Crew Cab trucks for use by the Housing and Neighborhood Programs Department and for other purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a grant agreement and accept funds from the Arkansas Department of Finance Administration for the 2025-2026 Emergency Solutions Grant Award and for other purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution Number 16,151, November 7th, 2023, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with JTS Financial Services, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $395,000 plus applicable taxes and fees for employee benefit consultation services and for other purposes. A resolution to extend the district at Breckenridge Temporary Entertainment District for the dates of May 1, 2026 to August 31st, 2026, and for other purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Impact Management Group and Mitchell Williams, Selig, Gates, and Woodard PLLC in an amount not to exceed $55,000 to provide governmental affairs and consulting services and for other purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with ANC Ventures LLC in an amount not to exceed $133,655 plus applicable taxes and fees for the resurfacing of Rebsamen Tennis Center, 14 tennis courts, and for other purposes. A resolution recommending the issuance of a City of Little Rock, Arkansas Port Authority revenue bond in the approximate principal amount of $5,100,000 for the purpose of financing the acquisition of real property at the industrial park at the Port of Little Rock and for other purposes. A resolution to set May 5th, 2026 as the date of public hearing to form and lay off the Kenwood Project Multipurpose Improvement District Number 2026-002 and for other purposes. A resolution to endorse a special resource study by the U.S. Secretary of the Interior of the home of Mr. Scipio A. Jones for its historic significance, suitability, and feasibility of being declared a National Historic Landmark or affiliated area of the National Park System, to consider alternatives for the preservation of the home by federal, state, or local government and for other purposes. That concludes the consent agenda.
There's a motion and second. Oh, 1 second. Director Webb, I didn't see that, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. I'd like to get some information on M3 before we vote.
What information would you like?
I'd like to know if there are currently plans for any of this land. I'd like to know, kind of what the plan is.
The,
There's 3 parcels that this will allow us to secure. One of them is the Clifton parcel, which will allow us to build another entrance from Bankhead Drive to the port to relieve those at-grade rail crossings, to try to reduce the potential for impact with, or not like a wreck, but to create a better egress and access to the port. The other parcel is the Rescom property, which will allow us to build a southern rail access coming off from the southern end of the port, which will again take some of the pressure off the north part of the port. And the other is the Tony Raines parcel, which is kind of in the middle of the port, where there's no plans for it. It's a small parcel of about 100 acres.
Thank you.
So 2 of the 3 are for roads and rail to improve access and safety.
Okay, thank you. And that is helpful because it's just the more transparent we can be, the better.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Mayor.
my pleasure. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the grouped items.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned commercial development titled De La Rosa Revised PCD located at 9123 Chico Road, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance reclassifying property located in the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Miles Number 3, STR2, PDC, located at 1908 South Van Buren Street, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Tippin, STR2, PDC, located at 8024 West 33rd Street, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned district residential titled Empire Development Group, PDR, located at 12401 Canis Road, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned commercial development titled MC Capital Management Services Edition, PCD, located immediately south of 10500 Stagecoach Road, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Sanchez STR2 PDC, located at 212 North Jackson Street, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes. An ordinance to authorize the demolition and removal of 11 unsafe and dilapidated residential structures to declare an emergency and for other purposes. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Siddons Martin Emergency Group, LLC, an amount not to exceed $52,515.92 plus applicable taxes and fees for repair and towing related to wreck damage fire truck unit number 25D202 for the City of Little Rock Fire Department to declare an emergency and for other purposes. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Southwestern Bell Telephone Company doing business as AT&T Enterprises LLC, an amount not to exceed $2,200,000 for AT&T hosted Vesta 911 service telephone system utilized by the city's Emergency Communications Department to declare an emergency and for other purposes. First reading.
You got a motion?
No, I have the request, I put a On item 15.
Oh,
when
I'm
we have-
sorry.
When we have the second and third reading, would we please show those pictures?
Yes, ma'am, I apologize, I didn't see it over here.
Move we suspend the rules and place off on second reading.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading. And we'll show those pictures.
No, you can go ahead and do it. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain commercial development titled De La Rosa Revised PCD located at 9123 Chico Road. An ordinance reclassifying property located in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain development commercial titled Miles Number 3 STR2 PDC located at 1908 South Van Buren Street. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain development commercial titled Tippin STR2 PDC located at 8024 West 33rd Street, City of Little Rock. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain district residential titled Empire Development Group PDR located at 12401 Canis Road. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain commercial development titled MC Capital Management Services Edition, PCD, located immediately south of 10500 Stagecoach Road. Ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain development commercial titled Sanchez SCR2 PDC, located at 212 North Jackson Street. An ordinance to authorize the demolition and removal of 11 unsafe dilapidated residential structures to declare an emergency. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Siddons Martin Emergency Group LLC in an amount not to exceed $52,515.92, plus applicable taxes and fees for repairs and towing related to the wreck damage to Fire Truck Unit 25D202 for the City of Little Rock Fire Department to declare an emergency. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, doing business as AT&T Enterprises LLC, in an amount not to exceed $2,200,000 for AT&T hosted Vesta 911 service telephone system utilized by the city's Emergency Communications Department to declare an emergency. Second reading.
We suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Third and final reading.
An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development to establish a plain commercial development titled De La Rosa Revised PCD located at 9123 Chico Road. An ordinance reclassifying property located in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development to establish a plain development commercial titled Miles Number 3 SCR2 PDC located at 1908 South Van Buren Street. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain development commercial titled Tippin SCR2 PDC located at 8024 West 33rd Street. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain district residential titled Empire Development Group PDR located at 12401 Canis Road. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain commercial development titled MC Capital Management Services Edition, PCD, located immediately south of 10500 Stagecoach Road. An ordinance to approve a plain zoning development and to establish a plain development commercial titled Sanchez SCR2 PDC, located at 212 North Jackson Street. An ordinance to authorize the demolition and removal of 11 unsafe and dilapidated residential structures to declare an emergency. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Siddons Martin Emergency Group LLC in an amount not to exceed $52,515.92, plus applicable taxes and fees for repairs and towing related to wreck damage to Fire Truck Unit number 25D202 for the City of Little Rock Fire Department to declare an emergency. An ordinance to declare it impractical and unfeasible to bid, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, doing business as AT&T Enterprises LLC, in an amount not to exceed $2,200,000 for AT&T hosted Vesta 911 service telephone system utilized by the city's Emergency Communications Department to declare an emergency. Third and final reading.
Members of the City Board, we've had 3 readings. We also have just one comment on item number 15. We'll allow Anthony Brown to share.
How you doing, Mayor?
Doing well. How are you doing today, Mr.
All
Brown?
right. I'm here for 2924 West 12th Street, this is my mom's house. We already started work on it. The foundation has been, the piers have been installed. A couple of walls have been replaced already. I got some pictures in the timeline. I just need 90 days to 6 months to be through. If you don't feel comfortable with the 6 months, let's do 90 days, bring me back in here, I have it framed up, and we take it off the list altogether. But it's a timeline and pictures for the house.
Just give us a few seconds to confer particularly with the ward member, as well as Director Howard. You have any comments? I'm sure the ward member may want to hear your perspective.
I'll let John come up in a minute, but information background on this property has been sitting for several years. I think I had a conversation with Director Miller about this property once before. It had a tree that was down in the back portion of that property. Currently, there's no permit on this property that's been pulled, and I know a tree had fell on it, and it sat there for several years. And this property has been disarray for a long period of time. And I've had several residents question about this property as why it has not been demolished. So I want to bring it to the board tonight, to give you all opportunity to review it. A lot of residents in the area have complained about this property for several years. And John, do you want to add anything to it, sir? John is our code enforcement manager. He's responsible for demolition, so he can give a little bit more background.
Good evening, Board. As you heard Director Howard say, the property is in a severe state of derelict right now. The roof is caving in. The yard is currently not cut as of today. We went by and took pictures today.
Mr. John, if you'll speak into the microphone, please.
The grass is currently not cut as of today. We went by and took pictures today, and the property is at a risk of falling and causing damage to nearby properties. It's a severe nuisance in the neighborhood. So at this point, we chose to deliver it to you guys so that y'all can vote to have it declared a nuisance in the neighborhood.
Director Miller, any thoughts or comments?
Let me ask a question. These pictures that were given to us, Mr. Brown, you brought us these pictures. When did she take them?
She took them a couple of weeks ago. The property is air property, so it's 8 of us. So it took a while. We had several deaths in the family last couple of months, and I got all the legality out of the way where it's solely mine now, and I can go ahead and proceed. We had a permit on, the permit expired, and the city has it where we couldn't renew the permit. And the grass has been cut.
Yeah, may I appreciate the chance to comment because, again, I've been getting phone calls about this. Again, I did visit with Director Howard that also brought this to my attention. It's in pretty bad shape. You say your daughter took these pictures a couple of weeks ago?
About a week and a half ago.
Week and a half ago. And this third picture, that's the condition of the roof too at this point?
Well, yeah, but see, you had the 2 walls we replaced in the back had to be replaced before we can cut the roof off. So it had to be stabilized. I just need 90 days. Let's revisit this in 90 days.
Well, I've had
I'm
enough.
not asking for a lot.
Yes. I've had enough neighbors complain about this. Unfortunately, I mean, it's stayed for years. I'm not supporting this. I'm going to support the staff on this one. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Members of the board, we've heard from the one applicant on item 15. All the 3 readings have been on the grouped items. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Mayor, my nay is on number 8 and number 15.
Sure, but I did already take the vote, just, yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But you still want to ask, well, you can still ask the question.
Yep. Mr. Brown, I just wanted to make sure I understood what you handed us, this timeline. It says that the foundation is completed already?
Yeah, new piers already. The city, Mr. Jackson have pictures of them.
Okay, but you
had to put new piers because when the house was built, it wouldn't pass inspection the way it was. So we had to go up under there and put new piers up under the house in order to put the 2 new walls that we put up. So when we do have inspection, it'll be able to pass, framing inspection.
Okay, I understand that. And when did you do that?
I'm sorry.
The period's been done a couple of months. I had a permit on it, and the permit expired, and the city had it where I couldn't renew the permit.
And are you a contractor?
Yes,
Okay. And that's your license number on this?
yes, sir. And the permit was up under my business name,
What's your business name?
Anthony Brown Construction,
Okay,
34 years.
okay. I appreciate that clarification. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read
Mayor, we have emergency clauses.
emergency clauses. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read item number 18.
Mayor, just one point, can you explain, Mr. Brown, what just happened? I don't know if you understand.
So, Mr. Brown, what's just happened is they voted to approve the staff's recommendation to demolish that building due to the reasons that Director Howard shared and residents' complaints over the last several years.
There's people next door complaining it's okay, and the tree in the backyard was from the next door property, and they pushed it over on my property. The city knew it.
I'm not familiar with that, but Mr. Howard, if you don't mind, if that's any new information to you, please get that from Mr. Brown after the meeting.
All right, thank you.
If you could talk to Mr. John and Mr. Howard, Mr. Brown. Y'all will get his number, please. All right. They'll take care of Mr. Brown. All right. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read item number 18 for the first time.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Perani PDC located at 12223 Colonel Glenn Road, City of Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for other purposes, first reading.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, second reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Perani PDC located at 12223 Colonel Glenn Road, second reading.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, third and final reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a planned development commercial titled Perani PDC located at 12223 Colonel Glenn Road, third and final reading.
All right. Members of the board, we've had three readings. We have three cards from residents. Mr. Akbar Parani. If you'll please come to the podium and speak into the microphone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please share why you're for this.
It was, initially it was as a residential, but it's always been a store before over there. So when we were trying to change the business into something else, we were asked to rezone, and that's the reason we wanted to get this done.
Any more, you have time to share, I understand that, but you want to share why you're for it?
So that we can change the business from a grocery store to something else, you know, where it can be more profitable.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Tim Daters.
Thank you, Mayor, Directors. My name is Tim Daters. I'm a consultant engineer with White Daters and Associates. We worked on the adjacent automobile dealerships for Riverside Motors. The Subaru dealership is immediately to the south and east of this property. This property is not on the City of Little Rock sewer. It's served by a septic tank and absorption field. During wet weather, when the business is occupied, which has not been a whole lot over the last few years, sewer overflows do exist through the backyard and they flow into the Subaru parking lot. We put an inlet immediately downstream of this so that the sewage would not flow across the parking lots. Our difficulty with this is the fact that part of the plan development did not require the applicant to connect to the city sewer, which is within 300 feet. The State Board of Health requires connections to city sewers when they're within 300 feet. So if they have to make any modifications or to the existing septic tank system or sewer or septic tank and absorption field, those would have to be approved by the state, and in all likelihood, the state would require them to connect to the sewer. But we did think that that should have been a comment from Little Rock Wastewater Utility, or Water Reclamation, that before this is converted to an establishment which is not a grocery store but which serves food, that it should be connected to the city sewer. We just don't want this to become a future nuisance where we're here complaining about sewage flowing across the ground into the adjacent developer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jesse Munn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, directors. I want to echo Mr. Dater's concerns. We have the property to the east and south of that. We have experienced sewage overflow when it was operated heavily it served food before and had a multitude of customers in there. It's been vacant for a while, so there's no problem with that now. But we are concerned that once they open a pool hall and serving alcohol and there's a lot of restroom usage, we're going to experience the same sewage overflow across our property. We would ask that you please defer that until you have time to remedy that sewage situation and connect it to the city sewer.
Mr. Parani?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any comment?
I never knew about this before before today, to be honest with you. So I didn't know that when these things were going on. After that, we had brought the property, and we had never had any issues since 2023, since when we brought the property. But, so I was not familiar with this until today.
All right. Director Hines?
Yes, can I get planning staff? I have a couple questions. Brad, there's currently a smoke shop operating in the establishment?
Is there a smoke shop in this?
No, it's a grocery store.
When I drove by there, it looked like it was a smoke shop. The gas pumps outside, I've got,
Well, the gas pumps has always been.
right. No,
Inoperative.
but Brad, where I'm going is, it's a non-conforming use, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. So that property sat vacant for well over a year before the grocery store use was put in there, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we already have an issue that we allowed a business to go into a non-conforming use on top of the issue with it not being connected to city sewer and complaints from the neighboring properties that they've had sewer overflows in the past. I'm not going to be supportive of allowing a pool hall with food that's going to put even more stress unless they agree that they're going to hook onto the city sewer. So I don't know if this needs to go back to planning commission. We just need to vote it down. He needs to come back with a new plan. But that's my concerns with the property. I've already had a discussion with Water Reclamation that a change in use of this magnitude where it's not hooked onto the city sewer is very different than a residential property. It's not, considering the previous history. So they will take a more critical eye before they sign off on something in the future. But we've also got an issue where this sat as a non-conforming use for over a year, which basically loses its non-conforming use, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then we allowed a business to go back in there. So I think we need to tighten up our regulation as well, but I'm not going to be supportive of application unless it's hooked on the city sewer.
Any more questions for board members before we take this vote? All right. Director Phillips, then Director Miller.
And this is for the applicant. I just want to make sure I understand some facts and make sure you understand what was just discussed.
Certainly.
Number one, when did you take ownership of the property?
2023.
Okay, and if I heard you correctly, in the last 3 years, you hadn't had any issues that they're talking about. You weren't aware of those.
I didn't even know about it, yeah.
Now that you're aware, are you agreeable to try to do what
Sure.
Director Hines said? And
Director Phillips, it can't be asked like that. If you suggest to him that by agreeing to that, he gets the thing passed, then.
I wasn't going there. I was just trying to make sure you understood, but I'll defer to the
At
city
this
attorney.
point, he's got to request that the application be amended to require the sewer connection. But in all honesty, in light of the issues that Director Hines picked up, it really seems better just to send this back to the Planning Commission.
And that's where I was going, to make sure that he understood because I agree with Director Hines.
Yes.
That this is an issue we got not allowed to impact the other property
Correct.
owners. I just wanted to make sure you understood
Yes.
what was being said. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you, City Attorney. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Pryor, would you like to defer?
Sure.
All right, thank you. We'll defer this, members of the board.
Thank you.
For a set period of time,
Deferral is not the same thing as sending it back to the planning commission. I take action by this board. Correct, Tom?
If you want the planning commission to look at it, you're gonna need to pass a motion to return it to the planning commission.
find that out. We will have you defer it to the planning commission.
He can't do it.
All right, there's a motion. It does, whoever wants to do it, trying to get to there. All right. Second, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. It's deferred to go back to planning commission. All right. We'll have one, citizens communication. Johnson, it doesn't say her first name. Ms. Johnson?
Good day, Mayor and board members. My question is, what are the plans for the summer for the youth in this community? I know you all have imposed the curfew for the youth, and I'm just trying to see what else is in plan on deck. I know you all have the summer programs, and what are your emphasis, or what are your, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. What are your plans for teenagers between 12 and 18? Per se, I know you have your jobs programs, and do you have any public-private relationships with the community, with the churches, and all that good stuff? That's my concern.
Thank you for sharing your concern.
Okay.
We'll get Director Michael Sanders to send you a list of all the things we got programmed for this summer. We'll get him to email that to you. If you'll just leave
Okay, that's fine, but how would the parents get that information?
it'll be sent to parents as well. We'll just get you, if you'll get your email to,
So it's online?
a lot of it's online already, but we'll still get it to you.
If it's online, I've been online.
It's online, but we can get it to you as well.
Okay.
directly. All right. You want to get your email address to Ms. Queena? So we can get that, you got it? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Director Compiers, before we go into recess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are three things I'd like you and the city manager to consider for discussion. One, I think that we're in a drought right now, and I think we need to have the people that supply water to this community come talk to us and about ancillary plans. I heard a thing yesterday that in the next 6 weeks to break the drought, we'd have to have 26 inches of rain. So I think it's imperative as we go into the summer and hot weather that we have people when we talk about that. Secondly, I'd like the police chief to come and talk to us about anything that we can do for public safety, since we're constantly in a bidding war for policemen with other things that we could use and do. And then the third thing, we just passed a resolution for JTS Financial Services. And I'd like them to come start talking to us about insurance and what we can do and what we can look for the fall.
Yes, we'll get together and map that out.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. We're now in recess. now back from our executive session. To report back, we've had an evaluation of both the city attorney and the city manager. Voted that they both meet and exceed expectations, and we will add a 1.75% raise, similar to what all of the team members received early this year, retroactive to January 1. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
Move adjourned.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.